So in case if you don't want to learn all the process of making of this title or text animation, you can just simply go to the link provided in the description below, as well as I'll provide it in the comment section. You can just click on it and you'll be directed to a website where you can get this title. Thanks. So, hello. And in this one, I'm going to tell you how I made this title spin effect. It was pretty much the game of splinators. I have told you the spline curves in my previous videos also. So if you haven't watched them, please go check that out. I totally recommend those videos. So let's get into the software. So we are here in the software and I just quickly click on this effects tab over here. And here you can see we have this adjustment clip as well as this fusion composition. So we'll just click on it and drag it to the timeline. So we have this 5 second of fusion composition over here, and click on it and just click on this fusion tab over here. And you can, by the way, right click on it to see the icons or see icons as well as the labels. But to get more space, I have clicked on the show icons only so that we have a little more space. And as well, I have done same over here in workspace. I have clicked on this full screen window so that we don't have that white bar over here if you're a window user. I don't know about Mac. And by default, we get this media out one node over here. So first of all, what I did was basically just grab this background over here. This is background nodes. This is the toolbar over here. Okay, you can either customize this toolbar. I'll make a separate video on it, or you can just click on this default one and you'll get the same toolbar which I have over here. So first, these four nodes are the generator nodes, and then we have this color correction nodes, and here we have this merge nodes, and these are masks. These are emitter nodes or particle emission nodes basically, and the last ones are 3D nodes. So the nodes which we are going to use are generator nodes as well as these 3D nodes. So here, as you can see, we have the background node, and as you can see that my nodes are snapping to the grid which is behind those nodes. So for that, what I have done was basically, that's pretty simple. You can just simply go to the options, right click anywhere in this grid and click on options, click on arrange tools, and then click this to connected auto arrange option over here, and take this background and take the output of this background by clicking and dragging, holding and dragging it, and then putting it onto this media out input. And by this, we have this kind of black background. And by the way, these are two viewers. You can do is you can basically click either one of the viewer, or you can have dual viewers. But right now we don't need that. So first of all, we need to make the text obviously in order to get the text animation effect. So you can see that you have your text 3D tool over here. Just drag it and you will have this text 3D. And in order to view this in the viewer, either you can click and drag this onto the viewer, or you can see these two dots are here. You can press these dots, or you can hit 1 or 2 on the numpad. Okay, I prefer is just click and drag it to the viewer. Now here you can type your text. I'll type Fusion Studios full stop, and you have this. And in order to move this 3D viewer, you can either, actually I'm holding phone from my one hand and mouse from another, so voice might differ a bit. You can hold and click alt on the keyboard and then rotate this viewer with your middle button from on the, and you can just simply drag your middle mouse click to have this perspective view, and then control and middle mouse zoom in or zoom out. First of all, we need to get that 3D look, because still we have the 3D environment, but the text is still 2D, which is plain. So in order to get that 3D look, we need to come to this inspector tab over here. If you don't have open, just click on this inspector tab, click on this text 3D, and then click on inspector tab. And here you can see we have a bunch of tools. We'll go to extrusion, and then I'll click here, by the way, to shadows or lights, so that we have a better view. Yeah, so here in extrusion, I'll increase the extrusion depth, and as you can see that as I'm increasing the extrusion depth, we have this kind of height on our text. Okay, I'll increase the subdivisions to 10, and I'll also add a little bit of bevel. So bevel is just I'll increase the width a little bit. I'll then control zoom in with my middle mouse, Scroll up, increase the bevel width and depth as well. So now you can see that we have this sharp edge right now, which we don't want. So I'll increase the bevel depth a little bit. Now we don't have that sharp edge. We have this bevel and increase the smoothing angle also. I don't know what this does basically, but still it's smoothing. So why don't you just smooth it out? Then we have this text. Now what to do is we have to, because it's a 3D text, we need to render it. So I'll take this 3D text output and put it into the renderer. And in order to see the renderer, again, I'll just click on it and drag it to the viewer. And we have this big text. This not even this render is not even covering the whole text. I'll take this text and click on this merge 3D node. Just click on this text and click on this merge 3D node. It will automatically be added to your pipeline. Then in this merge 3D, again, I'll take my camera, drag it, and then put this into the merge. Now, in order to view this merge, again, click and drag to the viewer. And now we have this camera. Now I'll enable this dual viewer, which I showed you in the starting of the video. And I'll click this merge and drag it to the viewer, or I can just click 1 on the numpad and enable this renderer on my second numpad. Oh, on my second viewer by clicking 2 on my numpad. Now we have both of these things. So this is our camera and you can move it as you want. We'll bring it a little back in order to see the whole text. And now you can see there's a limitation. We can't move this. You can click on this camera 3D node over here, and here in the inspector tab, again go to this transform tool. Here in translation, bring its z-axis, increase its z-axis, so that it will be, I think this much is pretty fine. So we will click 10.5 to just round it off. Okay, so it's translation on z-axis is 10.5, and we'll bring it a little up. I'll click 0.3. Yeah, so now our text is in the center of the image. Now why we have done all of these things? Because to bring in 3D image or anything like 3D thing into our 2D pipeline, we need to first render it out. And there are many options here in render 3D. You can even check the lighting and shadows if you want to add lighting, but we don't need that. We just want this flat 3D text, and you can even change the render type, but we don't want to add all of these. Now you can just take this render 3D output and join it to your 2D pipeline. Either you can just take this and join this to the background's output, then it will automatically add a merge node. If I just show you, then this merge node is automatically added to your pipeline. And if I see this merge node, now what this merge node is doing is it is taking this background as its main input, and then it is adding this 3D layer as a foreground on this background. So in this background, it is adding a foreground layer of this 3D nodes which we have over here. Now, in order to arrange these in more better way, you can just hit Ctrl G, which will group these nodes. Okay. Now, again, in order to view this, just double click on it, and you have all of your nodes. And you can see here we have this little cross. Again, click on it, and it will be again arranged to this single group node. Now you can name this group. Obviously, you can hit F2 in order to rename your any node. Okay, so you can't add numbers. Okay, no issue. I'll then keep it text only then. Okay, and now you have this group node also over here. What you need to do is, in order to animate that, I'll again click on this group node and click on this text 3D node. Everything which you need to do is will be happening in this text 3D node. Okay, now I'll bring my view down a little bit so that we have much more clear view, and I'll hit this single viewer because we don't need double view now. So click on this text 3D and right click over here and then select follower. Okay, now you can see that you have this modifier tab open. So click on this modifiers tab, click on this order and click randomly, but one by one. If you want to or you can just click left to right. Pretty simple. And then in delay type, you can choose between each character. As simple as that. And if I, for example, increase the size a little bit, if I come to the first frame, we are already the first frame, and put a keyframe over here for the size, and then come to 20th frame and increase the size like this, yeah, to 1. Okay, now see what happens. It just increases its size to the of the whole word which we have written over here. But if we increase this delay, we can hit 2, for example. Now if I play, you can see what is happening, right? Because of this delay, each character or each letter is having a delay in its size property increment. So we have to do this on the rotations x-axis. I don't know it's x or y. So I'll just quickly remove this size keyframes over here. I'll go to transform, and here, as you can see, again I'll come here and keyframe this z-axis. Okay, so it's not the z-axis, maybe it's y-axis. So it's the x-axis, and you can see that the rotation is happening, but not in a way that we wanted. We want this character, each character, to rotate from the middle of this. Like, we want it to rotate on its own axis. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to change the pivot settings. I'll go to this y, and then you can change. Okay, again, what you need to do is keyframe that. Now you have the pivot settings, and now if I rotate it, it's a lot. I'll decrease the pivot. Still it's a lot. Decrease a little bit more. Yeah, now it's in the middle. Now it's rotating from the middle. So it's somewhere about 0.25. I'll just set 0.25, and yeah, as you can see, now it's rotating on its own axis, keeping its center point in the middle of the character. I'll remove all the keyframes from here. I'll just keep a keyframe on this pivot and this x-axis. Now it's totally up to you that how much time you want each character to be rotated. For me, I'll choose 24 because it's a 24 FPS clip, 24 frames per second, which means that every 24 frames it will count its 1 second. So I want each character to rotate in 1 second. It should take at least 1 second. So I'll click 360 because I wanted to move, take a one round basically. And now if I play it, we have this kind of animation. Pretty simple, pretty basic till now. And again, we are having this type of like delay because of this delay option which we have over here. And you can change it. Like you can click 1. Now you will have a fast delay. Sorry. Now you'll have a fast delay between all of that. And if you choose 10, now you will have a very, very slow delay. Like it is looking actually very bad. But still, like you can do a lot of things. You can choose 3 instead of 2. And in 3, you will have this kind of effect. I think that 2 was looking the best. So I'll click 2 over here. And now if I play it, you will have this kind of effect. Yeah, so this is best. Okay, now we have the text. We have that kind of animating effect that the text is rotating. But now we need this text to change its color after its rotation. So how to do that? As you can see, like let's see this F character over here. We need to change its color. We want that this F should change its color from frame number 6. So we want this F to change its color from either from 6 or from 18. So what can we do? We can again click on this follower, go to first we have this first frame over here. Then we'll go to shading tab, and in shading tab over here, you can see we have this color option. Now again, just keyframe all of these so that this follower modifier is enabled, and then come to your that frame on which you want to change its color. So I want to change its color to 7th frame. On 7th frame, and it's up to you which color you want to make it. Like, I want to make it orange. So for that, I'll increase the red and increase green a little bit. And here you can see we have a little problem that it is bleeding, and we don't want this kind of bleed. We can come to 5th frame, and again we can text white, and now you can see what is happening. So instead of having a instead of giving it a lot of keyframes to change its color, which will, like, if I remove this keyframe from here, which will have this kind of gradient effect, what you can do is basically on the frame which you have changed the color, come just a frame before that, and again keyframe it and make it white, and now we have this kind of effect, and this is exactly what we wanted, isn't it? Yep. This is just one rotation. But if you want to have many rotations and you want to change the color many a times, again, that's also pretty simple. What you want to do is just copy the things which we have done again and just paste those keyframes over here. In order to do that, you can either do all of the things again, which we just did manually, or you can be smart, watch Fusion Studios tutorials before. You can click on this spline editor, and here you can click on this styled character displacement, uh, this angle X, sorry, character angle X, and hit zoom to fit. Check all of these and hit S first of all in order to smooth them out a little bit. Now they're smooth. And still, if you want to make some changes, what you can do is just click on this handle, and by holding Alt, move it in a horizontal way. Then it will be locked in this X axis, and bring it somewhere around here, like till 5th frame. And again, do the same thing with this handle over here. Again, click Alt, and yeah, this is fine, I think. Hit Control S, and now you will have something like this. Boom. That is a little bit too fast, I think. So what you can do is you can bring the handles a little bit back. You can click on it, hit Alt, and bring those handles a little bit back. Click on this, and again hit Alt, hold Alt, and yeah, I think this will look a little bit more fine. Yeah. So the same thing we need to do in the color also, because as you can see now the color is giving us a little bit of problem. So the thing which we did here, you have to do it again on all of the color channels. Frame to 11. So instead of 6 and 5, 6 and 7, we need to change that to 11. So take all of these keyframes, again hit Alt, you can manage, right? Click on this and bring it to 11th frame. And now as you can see, we have this kind of animate. Good. And if I play it, boom, 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 boom. Like you can see frame by frame. Okay, so it's nice and I'll just disable all of this and take this character angle X again because we want to highlight zoom to fit. Take these, select these anchor points, right click on it and click set loop and loop. Now what this will do is it'll just change. That is what we don't want. So take this anchor point, this marker, whatever it is, again hit alt, click on it, hit alt and move it in horizontal there. So that we have little time. Zoom to fit, again click on this handle, bring it a little further, and here we will have a little bit of time. Just focus on this F. Zip, zip, zip. And if you want to change the color as well. Okay, so it's not working on the color. So instead you can just keyframe those manually. What's the problem in that? Let's come to 50th frame. Again keyframe it by clicking on the shading tab color panel over here. From one frame forward. Okay, so you can, instead of clicking the keyframe on 50th frame, you can keyframe it on 51st, and then on 52nd you can change your color. You can make it a little bit blue. Yeah, blue works well, doesn't it? So this will change its color to blue now. And on the third rotation, which is happening on 87th frame, so on 87th frame, again click on this keyframe, come to 88th frame and change its color. I'll make it yellow. And now you can close your spline editor because you don't need that. So see, this was so simple. And now as you can see, you have this kind of effect. Okay, I think again we messed it up on 16th frame. So I'll click this keyframe over here and come to this 15th frame and click this and make it white and delete the previous keyframes because we don't need them. And now you can see our effect will work seamlessly. Now obviously it's looking a little flat. We can do a little things to make this a little more interesting. The first thing would be adding a glow node. So we are done with the animation and we are done with the animation or the effect, you can say. Now we can add special effects. So click on this merge node and hit hold shift plus spacebar and type glow over here. Now just take this media out and drag it to the viewer. Okay, so here we have the glow. I'll increase the glow size a little bit to 12. Save it and decrease the glow a little bit because I want to add soft glow after the glow. And again, decrease the gain, increase the blend, increase the threshold, again decrease the gain, increase the glow size. If you want to increase it, you can increase, or you can just, I can make it to 12 and then obviously decrease the gain. So we are done with the glow. The next thing which we'll do is adding the chromatic aberration. I'll click prism blur. So we have this. I'll decrease the blur strength, increase aberration strength to 1 and decrease the distance, aberration distance, because we don't want that. And you can see we have a little bit something over here. We have something, okay. And we also have the vignette over here, but we don't need that because I'll change these settings on the color page. So yeah, you can increase the distance a little bit more, maybe 0.014. And that's pretty much it, guys. In order to have a little bit more depth, what you can do is you can Again, come to this 3D text, which we like 3D group which we created, and you can add lights over here, and then click on this merge and click pass through lights, and in renderer just enable this lighting and shadows, and then add your lights, which will add the specular values, which will add a little bit more depth because it's already 3D. And one more thing which you can do is you can come to this uh, background and add a merge node over here, and on this merge node add an image. I don't have right now. You can add an image of maybe some grunge, some texture. You can just add some texture, and at last I'll add my favorite fill grain. I mean, like, it's the best. I'll increase it, decrease the texture, decrease the softness, zoom it a bit. You can see we have this kind of grain. I'll the grain only. You can see have something like this, and I think grain size is already. I can even decrease it a bit more. I can increase the grain strength to like 0.25 in order to have a much more strong effect. Now if I see, so it will look something like this. If I click on it, hit Control F to fit this view, or you can just click on this fit option over here. And yeah, I think we have something. And you can even add aperture diffraction, or maybe, there are many things you can add, you can do in Fusion. Okay, there are actually many things you can explore with Fusion. So I'll come to this aperture diffraction. Instead of hexagon, I'll choose square. Everything is okay. I'll just increase my aperture size, and in result scale, I'll decrease it a bit. Result gamma, I'll decrease it like over here, and scale also. And now in brightness section, I'll decrease the brightness, so that we'll have this kind of this HV ratio type effect, but it won't affect our brightness of the image. And at last, again, you can add a color corrector. And by the way, you can add this color corrector with shift plus spacebar, and also you have color corrector over here and this toolbar. And on this color corrector, increase the contrast a little bit, decrease the gain a little bit, increase the lift a little bit to get, and again increase the gamma a little bit, increase the brightness, or maybe increase it. It's totally up to you. Decrease the saturation. If you decrease it, then we won't have our effect. Okay, so you don't need to decrease it. You can maybe decrease it to like 0.85 if you are going for a particular look, or maybe something like that. You can even play with your saturation, tint, and temperature. Everything is over here. Okay, so I won't play with that. I'll hit Control Z for undo. And what else you can do? Guys, you can do many things. You can go to effects panel over here. You can choose your tools, and you have so many things over here. You can add many things. Let's see. Can I get something crazy? Ambient inclusion effect. We have this trails effect, and yeah, by the way, I remember from this trail word written over here that if you want to make this look a little bit more better, you can first go to this project settings, and instead of 24, the timeline is right now 24 frames per second. This setting you have to do at the starting of your project. Okay, when you open the project, then you can just click over here and choose 60 instead of 24, which will make it a little bit more smoother. Okay, and instead of full HD, you can head up to 4K Ultra HD. Okay, and if your PC can handle, you can even go to 8K Ultra HD. I don't know how 8K will look. It will look so much clearer because it's 4 times 4K. Man, that's crazy. And at last, then you can just click on this text group over here, come to this text 3D, and here go to settings. Okay, sorry. Come to this render 3D and go to here in settings and hit motion blur, increase it to 10, and increase the shutter angle to 200 and save it. And if you don't want to see the motion blur in your Fusion page, but if you want to have it in your edit page or when you render it, then just right click over here and uncheck this motion blur. Now you won't have motion blur. Okay, but if you want to enable the motion blur, just click on this motion blur, and now you will have a very slow playback, but this motion blur will look really cool. So I'll disable it, and I'll also hit proxy, not a proxy. Yeah, I'll disable it in the Fusion page, like in my viewer I don't want it, but in my render I want that motion blur, that smooth silky motion blur. And what else we can do? Yeah, let's come to filter, nothing here, inflow, nothing here, generator. I think we can change our background maybe, because our background is just black, and we can have something better than that. So instead of pure black, you can just click on this background and make it a little bit of gray. I'll just click on this single viewer, and instead of pure black, you can have it something like this, I think. And if you want the full feel of this texture, this grungy texture, you can simply add an image. You can go to Chrome and download a grunge texture over here. I'll just quickly add it and show that to you guys. So I have this kind of grunge texture over here. I can just simply take and drag it and just click on this media in and put it onto this green triangle over here, which is your foreground. And because both of the sizes are different, like this image size is different from this background size. This background is 1920 by 1080, and this media in is different. I don't know what's the size of it. You can just simply click shift plus spacebar and choose resize, and boom, it will automatically fit this. Okay, and obviously it's not looking good. So what you can do is, after resize, click on this color corrector, and here you can change some settings, like you can increase the contrast, decrease the gain, obviously, like something like this, decrease the saturation all the way. I don't want any kind of saturation. Increase the left, increase the gamma, increase the brightness, but increase gamma more, increase left more, and you'll have a image like this. And guys, that is actually looking good. And what else can you do? You can shift space bar over here, add a drop shadow maybe. Maybe this will work. I don't know. Shadow strength to 1, drop angle, drop distance, and increase the blur as well. And yeah, I think it is it's fine. You can add any other texture. Actually, that texture is not looking that much good. And at last, after color corrector, you can add a vignette. That's like topping, really good. Click on it, control F, hit the viewer, and yeah, now we are getting that retro feeling. And by the way, we can even add one more thing, which is the halation. How can I forget that halation? Sweet halation. I'll first click on this view glow alone, and I'll increase the spread. Like, we have so much of glow in this, right? But it is what it is. And then increase the strength over here too, and increase the spread here also maybe. Yeah, that is looking so cool, man. It's really awesome. And this is not a way to arrange these nodes. I want this grain after everything, and precision blur will be second last. Halation and aperture diffraction will be before these. And last but not least will be our vignette, as I told you. Shift plus spacebar, vignette. Yes, this is the last thing. I'll increase the size of it. I'll increase anamorphism, a little bit of anamorphism. Increase the size, increase the softness, maybe. Boom. Now we have this kind of effect. So that's pretty much it, guys. And I hope that you like this video. And if you really do, then please click that like button. Okay. And if you have any kind of suggestion, just put that in the comment section below. If I did any kind of mistake, or if you want to, you know, like, I just want to get the quality. Okay. I just want to provide a quality content. The last thing is that in order to render it, I just told you that please check this. Go to this render 3D, check this motion blur option over here, increase it to 10, and increase the shutter angle also to 200. If you can, if your PC can handle like this in 4K 60 FPS, that will be really, really great, because it will make it smoother as well as it will look good. Okay, it will be eye candy. Yeah. So this is how we created this kind of effect. And if you like this, so please press the like button, subscribe to this channel, press the notification bell so that you will never miss coming videos from this channel. And I'll be bringing really, really more awesome content really soon. So thank you so much.